I designed this towel topper specifically for towels that have a design on the front. So if you have a towel that has a design on the front, it is crocheted in such a way that it sort of is concave so that the design will kind of poke out when laying on your oven or dishwasher door. So that is the difference. This is what the crocheted portion looks like on the towel. So for this tutorial, you are going to need a towel, of course. I got this kitchen towel from the Dollar General for $1. It is a 14 by 24 inch or 35.5 by 70 centimeter. And I chose this one because it had a cute design on both sides. You're also going to need a ruler. I have this one, but you could also use a seam gauge or even just a regular ruler. Seam gauge is not quite long enough. And you're going to need some stick pins and a tapestry needle and a marking pin of some sort and a 6mm hook. You're also going to need just some regular worsted weight yarn. I chose gray because it matches a lot of kitchens. And you're going to need an iron and ironing board and a 1-inch button. You may want to use plastic since it'll hold up a little bit better. So you're going to begin by ironing your towel, all the wrinkles out. And then once you've ironed it, we're going to fold it into thirds so that the design is centered into the front of the towel. This may take a while because sometimes the factory puts the design on the towels a little crooked, so it can be a bit challenging. So it can be slightly off. Once you're satisfied, you're going to put pins through all layers because you don't want it to move from where you've got it. Then you're going to take it to the iron and press all the folds. And then fold it down the center halfway and press it with an iron so you know about where you want it to lie. The top fold should be anywhere from 6 to 6.5 inches depending on the size of your design. I'm going to show you how to improvise if it's just a 1/2 inch difference. If your top fold measures 6 inches in length, you're going to have 12 foundation row embroidery chain stitches. However, if it's 6.5 inches, you will have a total of 13 embroidery chain stitches in your foundation row. In this video, I'm going to show you how to improvise with 13 because it's going to be easy with just 12. So now we're going to open the top fold and lay it with the front side facing you. And then grab your ruler and your marking pin and line it up. Mine's a little crooked here, if you can tell. Line it up to where it's in the center and then mark every 1/2 inch across the fold. I used a permanent marker because it's not going to show. And then once you have the markings done, you are going to fold it again and make it to where the back of your towel is facing you. So mine is double-sided, but I do like one side better than the other. So I'm going to put the uglier side facing me first. Now you're going to cut a strand of yarn that's about 35 inches long and leaving a bit of tail to weave in later. You're going to make a knot about 6 inches up from the bottom. Now you are going to want to thread your yarn needle onto the opposite end. Now working from right to left and from bottom to top, you're going to insert your yarn needle or your tapestry needle into that first marked stitch. I'm going to show you how to make embroidery chain stitches. It's actually really easy. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the towel so that the layers are laying flat so I don't have bunched up stitches. Now you're going to take your working yarn and push it up. Now we are going to go back in the same hole we just came out of with our needle. And you're going to come out the next marked stitch. Make sure that that yarn is above it and pull. Now you're going to want to pull somewhat tightly. You're going to want to make these stitches kind of tight, even if it's puckering your towel just a little, because otherwise your crocheted piece is going to sag away from your towel. So we're going to continue on, take that working yarn up, and going back in the hole we just came out of, insert your needle from top to bottom. Come out of the next marked stitch and pull. Again, make it tight. I'm going to show you one more time. Take your working yarn and push it up. Put your needle back into the hole that you just came out of. Come out of the next marked stitch. Pull tightly. Make sure you're making them real tight. It's going to sag if you don't. So you're just going to continue making these embroidered chain stitches all the way across, and I will meet you when we're done. So here I'm showing you that you should have 13 embroidered chain stitches. If you have 12, I can still show you how to do it. Not a big deal. You want 12 or 13. Now to finish, you're going to go around the edge here and go from the bottom to the top into the same stitch that you made last. Now you're going to remove your needle from your yarn and pull out your pins. Now we're going to join this yarn to our working yarn so that we can crochet. I'm going to join using the magic knot. Watch me carefully, it is not as hard as it sounds. So make sure your new yarn is under your old yarn and bring it over the top to create a loop. Then take that same end and go underneath and through the loop you created. Now you're just going to pull tightly. Give yourself a bit more tail there. And take your old strand and put it over your new strand, over the top, and then underneath the new strand to create a loop. Then you're going to take that same tail and going around the top, go back through the loop. Pull tightly on both knots so that it can't come undone. Now you're just going to pull on both ends and bring the knots together and cut it to the quick. If you would like to further enforce this knot with some fabric glue or hot glue, that's perfectly fine, but it shouldn't come undone. So now we're just going to crochet. Grab your hook and then turn your work. Insert your hook into the first embroidered chain stitch. Yarn over and draw up a loop and chain 1. Single crochet in that first stitch. Now if you have 12 foundation stitches, you're going to put 2 in that first stitch. Essentially, we just want 24 single crochet at the end of this row. Now in every stitch across until I reach the last stitch, I'm going to put 2 single crochet in each stitch across until I reach that last one. When I get to the last one, I'm just going to put 1 single crochet in it, so that at the end of this row I will have 24 single crochet. Again, just put 1 in that last stitch if you have 13 embroidered chain stitches. At the end of this row, you should have 24 single crochet. Now we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. We're going to do a few decreases. So now we're going to single crochet in the first 2 stitches. In the next 2 stitches, we're going to single crochet 2 together, so we're going to decrease. Single crochet in the next 2 stitches. Decrease, or single crochet 2 together. So you're just going to continue that pattern all the way across, and at the end of this row, you should have 18 single crochet. Chain 1 and turn. Now we're going to put a single crochet in the first stitch and then decrease in the next 2 stitches. Single crochet in the next stitch and decrease. So essentially we are decreasing in every other stitch all the way across. So just continue that, and at the end of this row you should have 12 single crochet. Now we're going to chain 1 and turn. In this next row, you are simply just going to put 1 single crochet in each stitch across. Now we are going to do 4 more rows of 12 single crochet. So go ahead and do 4 more rows and I'll meet you back. Now we're going to chain 1 and turn. We're going to repeat row 3, so single crochet in the first stitch and then decrease in the next 2 stitches. Single crochet in the next stitch and decrease over the next 2. We're decreasing in every other stitch again. At the end of this row, you should have 8 single crochet. Now we're going to chain 1 and turn. And we are going to single crochet in the first 2 stitches. Then single crochet 2 together or decrease twice. So here's our first decrease. Here's our second decrease. And we're going to single crochet in the last 2 stitches. So we should have 6 single crochet across. Now we're going to chain 1 and turn. And we are going to do a total of 15 more rows of just single crochet. So you should have 15 more rows of 6 single crochet, or until it measures about 6.5 inches to the top of the towel. So go until it measures about 6.5 inches. And I will meet you back. So at this point, you should have 27 rows total. And it should measure about 6.5 inches. We're going to chain 1 and turn. In this row, we're going to create the buttonhole. So we're going to single crochet 2 together over the first 2 stitches. Now we're going to chain 2 and skip the next 2 stitches. And in the last 2 stitches, we're going to single crochet 2 together. And as you can see, here's our buttonhole. Chain 1 and turn. Single crochet in that first stitch. Single crochet in the chain 2 space. And single crochet in the last stitch. Now we're going to fasten off and weave in our tail. Now we're going to clean it up a bit. With the back of your towel facing you and your beginning tail to your right, you are going to join with a slip stitch in our very first embroidered chain stitch. We're going to do a finishing round around the entire crocheted portion. So join with a slip stitch here, and don't worry about chaining 1, it makes it look odd. We're just going to go right into single crocheting up the side here. So in each row, we are going to do 1 single crochet. I'm going to let you see a few at normal speed, and then I'm going to speed it up. Once you get to the last row, you're going to want to single crochet in the side of it as well. And then we're going to start working into the stitches of the last row. So we're going to put 2 single crochet in that first stitch of the last row. Since this is a corner, we're going to kind of round it off a little bit. In the next stitch, you're just going to single crochet. And in that third stitch, we're going to make 2 more single crochet to round off that corner. And then, of course, we're going to single crochet in the side of that row and down the side of the rest of the rows. So this is what it should look like. And you're simply just going to continue making single crochet down the other side until you reach the bottom. So here I am. I wanted to show you that I'm going to leave myself quite a length of tail so that I can use it to sew on the button. You'll have fewer tails to weave in if you do it this way. So now you're just going to weave in these 3 other tails however you want. And you're going to put a yarn needle on your ending tail. And I'm going to show you where about you want your button. So where I like my button is to be between rows 9 and 10. So it would be about right there. So you're just going to count from the bottom up to row 9. And about right here, there should be kind of like a decrease right there. You're going to weave this tail until you reach that point and then sew the button in between rows 9 and 10. And this is what it should look like. It should be just big enough to put your button through snugly. And that is it. You are done. Your tip-top topper is done. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial today. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching.